Woo! JT Coin Rings. Woo! Yeah, my precious metal in the bezel. Woo! Don't just wear my collect. Woo! Pay up for the spot of letter. Turn my coin to a ring, now that's special. Yeah, I'm all about my coin. 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 My precious metal in the bezel. Don't just wear my collect. Pay up for the spot of letter. Turn my coin to a ring, now that's special. Yeah, I'm all about my coin. Yeah, I'm all about my coin. Yeah, I'm all about my coin. Yeah, I'm all about my coin.
What's going on, guys? This is JT from JT Coin Rings, where I talk precious metals. I make coin rings on the side for all your pleasure. Once again, I come to you on a live stream. Thank you so much for joining me, for those who have. But please, how little housekeeping going on right now. Make sure that you hit that like button. It helps the algorithm and helps bring more people to the live stream. And today I want to talk about protection. Protection not just at home, but also abroad. The most important thing is to protect our precious metals, to make sure that we have the proper things in place when we are protecting. You know, most importantly, we want to have our safe. We want to have maybe a firearm, but I'm not a professional. So one of the things I wanted to do is to talk to my close network. And in my network, I have professionals, those who are in law enforcement, those who served in the military, those who know exactly what to do to protect home and so also themselves abroad. So one thing as a coin ring creator, I do collect precious metals. I have silver, I have gold, and one of the things that I did not know how to do was properly secure it. So I had to watch a lot of YouTube videos. Also talk to some friends from the sector, and they helped me out a little bit. But when it comes down to protection, protecting myself, and also in the house, but also when I'm abroad, I had to go to the professionals. So I have a friend here that I want you to meet, but I want to show a little introduction to him, so you can get to kind of know what he does, and then we'll sit down and talk to Demetrisse Harris from Monarch Defense. Personal protection, be it at home or about, is important. Today I talked to Demetrisse Harris on how we should do both.
All right, shooters, at this time, we will do your failure to stop drill. Shooters ready. Stand by.
Demetrisse trains professionals. He can also give us a couple tips on how to protect ourselves at home and abroad. Demetrisse Harris. Guys, so we want to introduce Demetrisse, and he's going to give us some tips. Maybe we can use some things you may know, some things you may not know. All right. What's going on, Demetrisse?
Hey, what's up, JT?
Hey, man. Pleasure, man. Thank you so much for this short notice, because it was truly short notice. But, you know what I'm saying, being a soldier, one thing I learned about you, you always ready. So
Hey, when a brother call, I always answer, man. I see you did your corn ring push. Look at that.
yes, there
That's
you go.
see right there. I got the other one sitting in my safe as well.
I know that's right, man. I was glad to make it for you, and I have your other one downstairs. So we just got to shine it up, resize, and ready to go.
Oh, I'm ready to pick it up.
All right, so Demetrisse, this episode is about protection. You know, we have coin rings, we have precious metals, silver and gold, platinum for those who does, and then mostly
Yeah.
we have home protection. But before we go any further, I want the people who are watching this video in the live stream and also the playback to know exactly who are you and why did you start this field that you are in.
Well, like you said, I'm Demetrisse Harris. Most people call me Meech. I'm a military guy, formerly Marine Corps and the Navy. I got out, came back to Maryland after a few years from doing some contractor work as well. And it's just simple with me. I've always had a fascination from guns since I was actually a little guy. My father was an Army Ranger, so it was natural that he always took us out, showed us how to shoot properly, operate things. And I just kind of fell in love with the field. But over the years, from me doing government contractor work and instruction, I wanted to start coming to the public because mainly of the gun violence, but not so much as on the law enforcement side, which I have worked, but it was more so of the community. We all have a deep need to protect ourselves, and I want to do my part to make sure that you can do so properly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I went in, I partnered with the USCCA, became an instructor with them, so that I can not only just train my professionals, but also the public side, and means to properly securing the proper way to fire. If you have that unfortunate event, what to do afterwards, things of that sort. Also, how to train your family. So that's just a pretty much a really good snapshot, I guess I should say, about myself and why I chose to become a part of this industry inside the public factor to look out for my communities.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Now, one thing I wanted to focus on was your training. What's one of the things you learned being in the Navy and also the Marines?
It's funny, when I actually got in there, my dad had already prepped me on everything.
Mm.
I kind of speedball that process, but what I did learn is just attention to detail, number one.
Right.
You have to be out of situation white. And the one thing that plagues us so much right now is our cell phones.
Mm. You're right.
See people walking outside all day, just engaged in the phone and have no clue on what's going on around them. We just had a situation, it's crazy. We talked about it in a roll call the other day, but we watched two people walk through the parking lot, and it was 5 shots in before they realized a crime was happening.
Wow.
See, they didn't get injured, but when I tell you, JT, they were just locked in on their phone. I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. Like, before the shots were, and we had to yell at them, and they look at us like, oh. So, but we're in situation white all the time. The majority of us, we could be sitting in our car outside our house, just doing things in our normal life. And we forget that, I don't want you to be over vigilant and thinking that everybody down the street is coming to get you, like, oh, what's this guy's issue? But just being able to recognize things quickly and react the same as well.
Right. Which is important because we are heavily distracted in the group of people, and our phones definitely pay a big part of that. So, and I know for myself, and I'm a kind of person who likes to make sure I'm aware of all my surroundings when I go outside. I don't like big crowds. Definitely don't rush into them. So I try to practice that area of protection when I do go out. But I want to ask you the first questions is, how do you properly secure your home? I know we talk a lot about personal protection, but right now I want to talk about the home, because most of my audiences are stackers. They do collect precious metals and they do keep things at home. So when you talk about protection for yourself and your loved ones, what are some of the things that you focus on?
Well, I have two different type of safes that I use every day. One is actually, I can show you when I'm gonna move my phone a little bit here, but I have my good old buddy, Mr. Voltac.
Okay.
That one is the smaller one of the three I have. That is Harvest 200. But that safe works really well. It's modular. It's biometric. You have a master code and a key backup. And what I love about it is that it's online. So if you download the app to your phone, you can sync your safe any activity. Don't care if your power goes out in your house. One of your kids is like, oh, let me see if I can get in daddy box, and then he goes push keys. It comes right to your phone. But that's one thing I do. I store money in that safe as well. My metals, my jewelry that I love a lot, watches, of course, my firearms, and that one. This one here is a smaller version from the same company as well. It's called R2. Now, inside this one, if you need to travel like you may do sometimes to deliver product locally,
right?
What I like about it is this also has a master code and a key with it.
Okay.
I have some work tools in here now. We're going to get into that as well, but you can customize this any way you need to.
Okay.
With the Velcro strapping. It also has a hook on the inside that you can connect it to your car, so you can cable latch it securely in your vehicle as well. So no one, in the worst event, someone breaks into your car, your window, what have you, get in, they won't take this out unless they bring some special tools.
Okay.
It's steel cable latch. So those are certain things that I do. So it's not only for guns, but you could do things like when you're traveling, I put my passport, I put money in it, my credit cards, my wallet, throw it right in my carry-on. It's TSA approved. If you need to transport firearms, handguns, you can throw it in here too as well. Also proof of that, throw it in your checked luggage. So it's things that you should do your research on when you're getting into the protection factor, whether you want to incorporate handguns or the safekeeping of your own personal daily items, which is why I throw it in my bag. It's easy to use.
Right.
And it floats too. That's another good thing.
That's a good thing, right? In case any floods.
Right.
So basically, when you look at home security systems, I know more the electronic, because right now we want to focus on protection when it comes down to the firearms and all. What could a family expect budget wise from least, mid range to the most?
At the very least, including a decent handgun, a few rounds of ammo, which I tend to say, like, even at home, you should have at least 200 rounds of actual protection ammo. That would be like a JHP, a jacketed hollow point, or a defense ammo, not full metal jackets. Please, people, don't. And this is where I'm going to, go into like getting your training as well. So actually, let's do this. If you consider your training, you're getting a weapon and at least one home safe, because when you buy your guns, they're going to come in something like this.
Okay.
This is for short transport only. This is not the proper way that you should store your firearms.
I have one of those, so
yeah,
my personal.
Right. So this is good for you to transport it. You can field strip your firearm, take it to the range in a backpack bag, a backpack or what have you. But at home, of course, most of us will have kids. This is definitely not the way. It doesn't even have a space on it for a lock.
Right.
I mean, bare minimum, if you get one of those large padlocks to put around the handle, it's okay, but it's still able to be taken out of that space,
Okay.
what have you, you know. So I would say a realistic budget coming in, I would say at least 1,200. At the very least, that's going to include you getting your training to get your HQL if you're in Maryland, or if your states require you to have prior training to do so,
Okay.
to get a decent firearm. And you want to stay away from keyboard warriors in that aspect, because everyone's going to give you their opinion.
Right.
You know, go to a range yourself after you get your training or with the instructor. Try out a few firearms, because what works well for me may not work well for you.
All right, we got some questions inside the chat that I want to address. You know, we have Excalibur. I thank everyone who's coming to the live stream to join in. Once again, we got Demetrisse from Monarch Defense. Let me put that banner up. I did create it just for that particular purpose. But I want to go to the comments right now. We have Excalibur. He said he's a Glock guy. So and a question also from Neophyte Stacker. His question was, for beginners, if you only have one gun, shotgun or handgun for home defense.
If I only have one for home defense, shotgun.
Shotgun?
Yeah.
And why?
Shotgun is better for those nervous situations, I should say. 2 stages. Number one, that big click clack you hear, someone breaks into your house, and if you don't have that round chamber, once you say, hey, you know, you get that warning, get out of the house, and they hear that, they're going to think quite twice. It's audible difference from a handgun.
Right.
Number 2, the shot rate gauge from it is much easier for you to, unfortunately, stop your threat. If you have, it's less work, it's less movement for you to do so for fine motor skills where you need with a handgun. So
okay.
I definitely go with the shotgun first.
Good point. After we come back from this this break, I want to go into the further questions. So, guys, thank you. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below so we can ask Demetrisse. We got an expert here who served time in the military as a Navy and also Marine, and also doing great works in teaching others how to protect themselves with firearm training.
Take pride in your stack and wear it. Johnson Toe is an American craftsman who could take your favorite coin design and create art that you'd be very proud to wear, and something very special to share. JT Coin Rings, handcrafts, handmade jewelry, especially for you.
Guys, welcome back. We're here today with Demetrisse Harris from Monarch Defense, talking home security and also personal security. Demetrisse, let's go to our next question. My next question is, what should every household have?
Every household should have an emergency kit. Number one, first aid is important, and there should be at least one trained individual for first aid and CPR, because that's part of your aftermath. And even if it's not involving, you know, a firearms attack, but just for emergencies in general, I always have little kits. I find them, I buy them. Every one of my kids has one of these in their room. They know how to do basic first aid and CPR. Awesome. So, but at least one qualified person that can do first aid. Number one, flashlights. You can never have too many flashlights. Also, if you have firearms, definitely get yourself a safe and get an emergency evacuation plan, even if it's a meetup point across the street, at a neighbor's house. The ability to always, well, I think the cell phone is kind of out of the question, because I don't know anyone walking down without their cell phones.
Right.
Emergency numbers. You know what? Also, one thing for the cell phones, the ID. Everyone should set up a medical ID on their phone, because even if you don't have a medical situation, but you put emergency contacts in it, that if the first responders have to get to you, or if something happens when you're out and about, it's like your phone. Once they tap the phone and ask you for your lock code, it's going to have the comes up for the medical ID for your emergency call. So that way, they'll be able to get a hold of someone for you.
That's a good point.
Not wondering why you've been missing for the last few hours and have no way of contacting you in that unfortunate event. So definitely do that.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna get you to do a small clip on how to set that up, and I'm gonna do that. Make sure I put it for a video so people can know how to do it if they never haven't seen it done. But that's a good point. I never thought about that.
Yeah, because we all don't need to have a life alert, the medical risk.
Right.
But that is a big tack. Every time I get new officers, especially at my job,
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning of the class, I make everybody pull out their phones, and we go through it for Android and for iPhone, so it works on both platforms. It is a great tool.
Awesome, man. The next question: how to properly train family members? What is your suggestions on that?
Find a qualified instructor. I know we all have our comfort levels once we start working with a firearm. However, find an instructor that can also train your little ones. Down to my grandkids now, I have them shooting, the pellet guns and 22s.
Okay.
And the youngest one is 4, for the boys. If he's 4 years old.
Wow.
And he knows how to load rounds. I know his mom would freak out, but guess what?
Yeah.
Because it takes away the mystery.
Right.
Because little kids like Nerf guns, so they figure they see a gun, then they need to know the difference. And once you take away that excitement from them,
Right.
they deal a lot different. Even to the point when I go see them and I have my firearms for work on me, they automatically, just out of respect for that situation, go to the left side of me to hug me, because they see everything. Kids pick up, 10 times faster than adults do.
Right.
So they know Pop's working. He has his gun on. Let me go on this side because he's going to tell me no anyway. They don't even ask to see it. They don't even want to touch it. None of that, because they understand what it is.
Yeah, I think that you made a great point. I think when you properly train them and then you also expose them to what to do and what not to do, it makes them better aware. Because it's a big fear,
Yeah.
and we know mistakes happen, but properly training anybody, as young as your grandson and as old as anyone, I mean, if you properly train them, things will work out better. So I'm glad you said that, because it's a fear of mine, that something may happen, but I feel better when I know that, hey,
Yeah.
man, it's make sure I teach them right.
Right. It's all in the approach about it. Like, I've had my grandkids come in the house a lot of times where I wasn't expecting them, and I have things spread out on my table cleaning, and they're right in my room, and they do their pop, hey, what you doing? They look and see the guns, and they go sit down immediately. They get away from that habit of wanting to grab and touch things. They don't do that because they
Right.
know.
No better.
Sometimes I'll drop stuff on the ground and he'll say, hey, Pop, you dropped that one. He'll like point, but it's not so much like I need to rush and grab and play with it. They know it's serious business.
Got you.
Just-
Before we leave the house, like house security, we have a question from someone in the chat. Neophyte Stacker says, "Are camera security systems worth it? I've seen some over $1,000. Thoughts on the Ring?"
Ring is perfect. I love the Ring. I have it myself, but yes, they are worth it. And I speak highly of them, especially if you have a situation that happens. You have that second set of eyes. That camera and that video is your best witness.
Right.
And also that encourages better behavior on yourself and also on the assailant. Once they realize the camera's there and the jig is up on them, they have to act accordingly. That's a witness that you can't, beat up and blackmail.
Right.
Or alter what they say. I mean, it is what it is at that standpoint. So I definitely suggest a camera system.
That's been I definitely like that question. Thank you, Neophyte Stacker. We have our brother Michael M from Canada. He's checking out the chat. We also have our brother Melvin Top. Melvin, thank you so much for joining in. Excalibur, and we also have the Saint. The Saint says, cool, a gun chat, AJT and all. So thank you all for coming in. The next question goes out when we leave the house. How do we protect ourselves when we're out and about?
Now, if you have a license, of course, always have your credentials with you. Proper holsters for less imprinting that you can get. And this is why I said that you need to try out a lot of firearms. For instance, my work gun is not a gun that I conceal. I have a Glock 19 for work. I had Walther PDP, all these big frame guns, right?
Mhm.
And then for me, for personal, let's see. I got this small. Oh, you know what? It's not in the safe. It's right here in my carry-out box because I'm getting ready to go out, right?
Okay.
But I have a smaller gun. I have a Hellcat.
Okay. I knew
Yeah,
Hellcat is be a car. I didn't know Hellcat was also a firearm.
Springfield. It's funny because out of all of my firearms, a Hellcat is actually one of my favorite, and I'm just as
Okay.
happy with that little suck ass and with a large one. If you don't have the access or the permission to carry firearms legally, a nice little can of pepper spray, some OC.
Okay.
Even if you have it in your kits, make sure they have the safety latches, so you have to actually flip it up, to deploy it, things of that sort. You can have a knife up to 2.5 inches, some places up to 3.
Okay.
And that's also a safety thing. Is that I find little trinkets I put in my kits, like this ink pen right here, right?
Okay. I need one of those tactical ink pens.
Yeah, a glass breaker's on the edge of this too.
Okay.
You can break glass out if you can't get out your vehicle, or if you're stuck in home and your windows for some reason jam, you can use that. Or
Awesome.
you can use it for protection.
I think I'm to grab one of those, man. Thank you for that. We have a question from the chat. We have Melvin Top asks the question: what is the best way to obtain a permit to carry?
With the local state government, find out what the requirements are, because all states are different. Some places you can literally walk into the sheriff's office and apply. They do a quick background check, and if you satisfy those requirements, they can actually give it to you same days in a lot of states. In Maryland here and a few other states, you actually have to go get that training to get the proper license in order to purchase, number one, first, and transport only. And it's
Right.
a separate license for you to carry.
Okay.
So your wear and carry is vastly different from your HQL in Maryland. HQL only says that I could go in the store, buy it, store it at home, take it from a home to a range, or in between my residences. It means of transport, but it does not say that I can actually put it on my waist and carry it. So just
Okay.
need from your local government, and as far as that. But as far as I know, most states do require you to have a class of some sorts. Seek out great instruction.
Awesome. We have a question from Neophyte again. He wanted to know what brand of pepper spray is that?
This one, well, I have a couple of them. This one is Takedown Extreme. This is actually for work.
Okay.
But you could go on saber.com and get Amazon. I got this one for Amazon. This is
Okay.
a cone spray. Now, dealing with pepper sprays is tricky also, because you have to think of the method. This one is a cone, which is great. This is indoor use only.
Okay.
If you're outdoor and if it's a little bit of wind, you're going to spray it as well.
Right.
So that's the other thing. Most states will actually want you to take a certified trainer so you can get a license for that as well.
Okay.
A permission card. This one is a stream, so I can spray this outside with less flat wind blowback activity on it.
Okay.
Better directional as well. So it's different methods.
All right.
Prefer for outside for personal use the stream.
And what's the price for them for those?
You could get these for about $25 a can.
Okay. It's good to know.
About 20 shots or so of it. This one I believe was about 30.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I get them for home too. You could get them just as big as a fire extinguisher if you need it. That's a lot of OC, but it's different levels and different brands that you can get. But definitely have a pepper spray.
Okay. So for those who cannot have because Baltimore, you have to have a certain reason to have in order to carry and conceal. So that's I'm in my home, the protection. So at least when we out and about, for those who cannot conceal and carry, you can have the pocket knife and also the pepper spray. Well, Demetrisse, man, I appreciate you, man, for taking the time out to share with the crew about ways to do protection home and about. Tell them where they can find you.
My Instagram page is monarch_defense.
Mhm.
If you go on USCCA, if you want to have training in the Maryland area, also do Virginia, PA, Tennessee. Those are actually states I work in as well. But you can find me on USCCA, and you can just Google it, Monarch Defense. I'll pop right up Demetrisse Harris. And all my contact information is on both. My email is monarch.trident@gmail.com.
And we have all that right in the description of this video. So, guys, if you want to check out his Instagram to see what he's up to, maybe he'll put some projects on there. Also, some training. You can go to his Instagram, which will be in the description, along also with his website and other information. But Demetrisse, man, I appreciate you as always, brother. That you take the time out to come on the channel to talk. This won't be your last time. I'm definitely gonna do some tips and tidbits throughout the year that we can I can share on the video just to keep people up to date with what you're doing, and also maybe some questions they hit in the future. But I
And
appreciate you as always.
always, man, love you, man. See, I have to show off his work. This guy does quality work, man. I don't even bother going to a jewelry store. Actually, I'm gonna put in an order with you later on.
Got you. Got you, man. I got you. You know, man, I love you, man. You take care, and I talk to you soon.
All right, man.
All right, guys, man. I thank y'all for sitting back and enjoying that. I hope you got some information, and some good information, from Demetrisse Harris, and his Monarch Defense. You can find him on Instagram. Like I said, everything will be inside of the description below. So, guys, let me tell you what's going on in the channel. I'll have a video coming out today, and the video will be about, the new ring that I'm creating. This will also be a gold plated ring. So I want you guys to check that video out once it's dropped. I'm also gonna be doing some more live streams. If you have a channel and you want to check out the live stream and you want me to shout you out, make sure you give me a shout out on my email. That's jtcornrings@gmail.com. That's jtcornrings@gmail.com. And I'll put you on, and we can have opportunity to talk about what's going on in your channel. And I'll shout a product that you may be selling. I have no problem in doing that, helping people in the community. Right now, I'm going to focus on a shining star in our community. Some guy that I've been watching for the last 2 months, and he's been real busy in the YouTube streets. So I want to introduce you to my friend, a rising star in the community, and this is him. All right, that's before the billions. This was a short clip. Before the billions is a YouTube creator and just came out this year. He's a data engineer. This guy did a 10-hour live stream. A 10-hour live stream. The things you do in order to get your work, your hours. And it's one thing that I need to do. I need to get my watch hours up so I can get monetized as well. But I was definitely inspired by before the billion. You check him out. I'll leave his description, also his links in the description below as well. Okay, guys, if you wanted to take an opportunity to support this channel, please hit the like button. It doesn't cost you a thing. If you monetarily want to support the channel, you know what I'm saying? I love coffee. Buy me a cup of coffee. This is a link in the description as well that you can support the channel. And this is a little video that I came up with. And there we go. If you want to support the channel, buy a cup of coffee. That link is in the description. Guys, thank you so much for joining on another episode of JT Corn Rings. Check out my videos coming out this week. And once again, if you have any videos or you want to be a guest on the show, hit me in my emails, and we'll make that thing happen. Guys, you take care. I hope to hear from you soon. I'll talk to you later.
JT Coin Rings.
Peace, guys.